Dude, I think you hit that button so many times that now it has like a little angry face over your face on your camera.
What? Wait, what?
I think you hit that soundboard sound so many times that now it has like an angry face over the emoji.
Really?
It didn't go. You might have to like go in and you might have to leave and come back. The emoji's like glitched and staying there on your screen now.
Not for me. I don't see it.
When I start to stream up, you're gonna have that angry
right,
face over your face the whole time.
Let me see here. I'll disconnect.
Now it's normal.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's normal.
All right. Let me just hit Joe Hendry a bunch of times again then.
All right, welcome everybody to Unexpected Wrestling. I'm checking the audio to make sure everything's working. It looks like it is. Interesting night we had last night, wouldn't you say, Mr. Chunk, with Money in the Bank going on?
Absolutely.
We got a couple things we got to talk about.
Definitely interesting. Yes.
Couple things we need to talk about, and just getting right into it here. This might be a little bit of a different show because we're going to limit our recapping of Raw and SmackDown and kind of go over to pay-per-view and some of the events that happened afterwards here. But the first thing we need to talk about, because it's on everybody's mind in the internet wrestling landscape, is the return of R-Truth. So just last week, R-Truth announced that he was departing to WWE after, 18 years or however many. He's been in WWE since the 90s, but he did have a little bit of a stint in TNA for a little bit there.
Yes.
Yep. But, I mean, he's been connected with the company forever. And basically the information that we got afterwards was the WWE offered him a different contract. They weren't renewing his full-time contract. They offered him a different contract, and it was out of his ballpark. It was too low for him. He wasn't accepting the deal, and they were parting ways. So we thought. And then, not to spoil anything, but this is kind of the first thing we need to talk about here. At the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last night, R-Truth appeared and attacked John Cena. And it's come to believe that R-Truth is back with the company now, likely not under the same contract he was under before. And the internet has gone crazy. There was a big argument on the internet on if the fans got worked or not, or if the fans / dirt sheets also got worked by the WWE, or if they didn't. And I made a post this morning, or earlier today, I should say, basically acknowledging that we here at Unexpected Wrestling actually called exactly what we thought was happening here, and lo and behold, it did happen. We were under the impression that R-Truth, they weren't extending his full-time contract, and that eventually, now we didn't say give a time frame, but we said eventually WWE would offer him a new contract that would be more fitting to what he is capable of doing now. He's not capable of being a full-time performer, but he could get a contract where it's a part-time basis. He does backstage stuff. He wrestles every once in a while, and that appears to be what happened. So I wanted to make note that we did predict that this was going to happen. I didn't realize it was going to happen as quickly as it did, but I do think that that was partly due to the fan feedback that they were giving them. So I guess in a sense, maybe the fans expedited that process by being very vocal about that they wanted R-Truth. But I am not under the impression that the WWE drastically changed their plans because of the fans, and the fans have this like complex where they think that they are able to change the course of WWE. And I blame this all on Daniel Bryan and the stupid yes movement from back in the day.
Yes.
They think
that's what started that trend.
Yeah, they think that they're part of the show, that they're more important than anything else, and if they want something, they can just scream and yell and tweet about it, and WWE is going to change their entire direction because of them. The Daniel Bryan stuff, I think to a point maybe that worked, but you also have to realize that WWE is in the business of entertainment. And if they see fans being passionate about something, that's what they want to see. And they're going to either lean one way or the other. So basically, you're doing exactly what the WWE wants you to do. If you want R-Truth, they want you to chant it. They want you to participate in shows. They want you to... There you go. I thought R-Truth was here for a second. Basically, it's one of those situations where any press is good press for them. So if you're upset that they got rid of R-Truth, guess who you're talking about? You're talking about R-Truth, but you're also talking about the WWE. The WWE will be trending all over the internet. Everybody will be talking about it, and that's exactly what was happening. Even though technically it was negative, they could put a cherry on top when they do bring R-Truth back, which I think was their intention all along.
Well, they didn't really bring R-Truth back. They brought Ron Killings back.
Yes. There has been a couple references to him as Ron Killings.
There's been more than that. So I'm wondering if this is like their way of getting back at TKO, because TKO kind of wanted them to get rid of aging talent that was making a lot of money, and that they might have gotten a little snubbed by TKO if they brought R-Truth back a couple days later, because then they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
So here's an idea.
We want you to get rid of him
because, like, yes, they did tweet out Ron Killings merchandise. WWE officially tweeted out, but they were also still referring to him as R-Truth. What I think might have happened with this new contract that he has, because Ron Killings is his legal name.
Yes.
I think part of his new contract, maybe this was something he put in, was that WWE start using his legal name, which benefits him in the long run, so that when his final run is over, whenever that may be, now we might have some indication that's going to happen sooner rather than later, he will be able to capitalize on the stock that they put into quote unquote Ron Killings.
Maybe he has a post wrestling career, right?
Well, he has a lot of different things that he's doing outside of wrestling. So he'd
rather be known for Ron Killings than R-Truth, maybe.
Well, in the music genre, rap. Well, I never listened to his stuff, but he is a rapper. He goes by Ron Killings. So now, if WWE is referring to him as Ron Killings, now it's kind of he's basically promoting his brand that way. And that sounds like it benefits him more than WWE. It sounds like that's probably part of his new contract that they can call.
And the other thing that I read, but I don't know how true this is that part of it is he wants to go out on a more serious character and not go out as the joking R-Truth.
I mean, that's possible.
That isn't taken as seriously. So maybe the best way is go by his real name.
Unfortunately, right now, one thing that at least sticks out to me is I'm not going to believe anything that the fucking dirt sheets say. Because none of the dirt sheets were claiming that he was fired, that he was gone for good. None of them said that he was coming back. None of them said anything about him re-signing. So that just tells me that they really don't know shit, at least about WWE.
Yeah.
AEW, I think Tony Khan is leaking stuff to the dirt sheets. In WWE, they like to throw up red herrings. They like to mess with them, and a lot of times that's how they're so wrong so many times, because they have no inside information in WWE. Regardless of what they want you to believe, so you pay that $15.99 a month, they do not have insider information in WWE. They might talk to a few wrestlers, but... Yeah.
I'm going to ask you an opinionated question then.
Yep.
Do you think it was a work in any way? Was he actually let go at all?
I think his former contract expired.
Oh, that's what I meant. But without a new one in place immediately thereafter?
I think WWE offered him one, but he didn't sign it because he didn't think it was high enough.
Okay.
I think essentially what happened, they were in negotiations, and he didn't like the offer that was on the table. He had it in his mind he wasn't going to re-sign until things happened. But when he made that formal announcement that he was gone from WWE, I think that was real. I think he didn't think that he was going to sign because the contract they offered him didn't meet his expectations, so he wasn't going to sign. Ultimately, it was his choice. The way he worded it, of course, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm not signing with WWE." He made it sound. That's where I think people are confused. People are confusing a non-renewal of his contract as a firing, when that's not really the case.
I didn't think he was fired.
Well, some people did. Some people think that. Some people thought he was fired.
They let it expire naturally, right? And then I wouldn't say lowballed, but maybe offered something a lot lower. And R-Truth thought that his value was higher.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it turned out to be higher. So
it sounds to me
maybe
like
we thank the fans a little bit because they must have spiked
they
merch sales.
Yes. I think R-Truth used it as a big contract negotiation.
Yeah.
I think the tweet that he sent out that he was leaving was sort of calculated. And, if he was still in ongoing discussions with WWE, that obviously boosted it up with people chanting it on TV, people buying his merch, people showing support. Yes.
And that's a unique situation, because I can almost guarantee you there's going to be fans out there like, well, why can't this happen for anybody else?
Well, they tried. Carlito tried the same thing.
Carlito.
Sarah Logan, she tried the same thing. Because there was 3 people fired. Sarah Logan, who was Valhalla, the freaking...
Well, not fired. They let the contract expire.
Carlito, same thing, and R-Truth.
Yes.
R-Truth got the following. Carlito made a tweet and tried to joke about it. But unfortunately, fans just don't care as much about Carlito.
Well,
and what was he offering? He was just...
I think if R-Truth did not have the match at Saturday Night's main event with John Cena, I don't think he would have been fresh in fans' heads, and I think that he might not have gotten a contract.
I think fans would have still been insulted, though, because they
would have been insulted.
He's like a fan favorite character.
He is, but he's fresh in people's heads because he had a recent involvement with John Cena. Had he not been on television for a month, I think this might not have played out the same way.
Yeah, if he was on
Remember,
injury...
they were selling merch.
If he was on injury, yeah.
Well, not injury, but they were selling merch with his name on it, faking
that
John
was probably a good reason for them to look at the numbers. Be like, you know what, maybe we can offer him this instead.
Had none of that happened, I don't think he would have re-signed. At least not as quickly. Maybe 6 months later. If nothing else panned out, it wouldn't have been a quick
what happened this week probably did sweeten up his deal.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was able to get some things that he needed to get in there. We'll see how it turns out. And
maybe thank John Cena, because my understanding is John Cena kind of gave him a little rub prior to him being let go that he wanted to work with R-Truth.
It could be.
And give him a send-off. Because a rumor I read, and I know we don't believe in the dirt sheets that much, is that him having his contract not renew was something in the cards for a month or two. And
they knew
John
about
Cena. It. Yeah, it wasn't 24 hours up, he's gone. And I think what I was hearing was that John Cena was politicking behind the scenes to say, okay, if R-Truth is going to be gone, no guarantee he comes back in any terms.
They're trying to
send off.
Get him a bigger offer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
who
even
thought that
R-Truth
send-off would have reignited a new contract?
I don't think R-Truth even wanted to be a full-time wrestler.
Well, he's in his mid-50s, right?
Yeah, he can't do it in the ring.
Does he want to injure himself?
No.
Yeah.
Well, he's had a couple injuries.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to injure yourself at mid-50s. You don't recover as quickly.
Yeah. But one thing I did notice, and I pointed it out on our Twitter, the dirt sheets are on damage control right now. They are trying to make excuses at why they weren't able to report that R-Truth got re-signed when they basically were gaslighting WWE by basically like reprimanding them for letting R-Truth's contract expire. But then none of them with the inside information put in the details that he actually re-signed. So basically, they're coming up with excuses. Some of them are claiming that the contract was signed like literally minutes before he showed up on TV. Now they're trying to say that it happened days ago, but none of them reported it. This is the problem. Like, I feel bad for people that spend the $15.99 to get these insider information. For AEW, it's fine because AEW, they purposely leak things to these people. They have like working relationships with the Dave Meltzers, the Sean Ross Sapps of the world. You'll be able to get information from AEW. WWE, they probably have people hired specifically to make sure that leaks don't happen. And when leaks do happen,
they don't want leaks happen. They don't want it to happen.
No. Well, you would think that you don't want it to happen, but some wrestling companies, they like thrive off of leaks happening.
Or false leaks,
yeah,
right?
WWE, they
misguide you.
Yeah, WWE, they will swerve you in different ways, not the Strickland kind. They will purposely leak things that are false so that the dirt sheets report it. Just like what was it? Oh, Elimination Chamber, when they were leaking that Drew McIntyre was going to win, when obviously he didn't win, but they were leaking it to the dirt sheets so that they would report it and then end up being wrong. They basically like try to make them look stupid.
Right.
And that's why like you can't go to them for WWE backstage information. My suggestion, if you want WWE backstage information,
watch our podcast.
No. Follow any wrestler you're interested in on Twitter. Because that's the closest to backstage you're going to get with WWE. You want to find out about some stuff that's going on in a wrestler's personal life. You want to see them crash out and like tweet something they shouldn't. Go follow their personal Twitter. Don't go through Sean Ross Sapp or Dave Meltzer. They all have an agenda. They're all under AEW's payroll. They will purposely put out negative information about WWE on any time that they need to have positive information for AEW. They all have vested interest in that stuff. In WWE, it's obvious that they are feeding them bad information just to get people talking or whatever, and then it ends up being wrong. Yeah, so the internet's been going crazy about that. People claiming that WWE worked everybody. I'm under the belief that it was a work. They knew that Truth was signed days ago. I don't know how early, though. But I know that they've known for a while that Truth wasn't leaving. They kept it hush-hush. They let the fans continue to go crazy and think that they're on some yes movement again. Kind of like the
work from the very beginning.
Yeah.
He was never actually off contract at all.
I think his old contract expired, and hopefully, in my mind, what I think happened is old contract expired, and they offered him the new one, and maybe it took him a little bit to sign it. Maybe they had to revise it a little bit, and then he signed it. I would go on a limb and say, I would say by Thursday they had a contract with him.
Okay.
By Thursday. So maybe there was a couple days where it was up in the air, but I think they were always in talks. Because I don't think dirt sheets are trying to claim that he was talking to like TNA and AEW. I don't think that happened. Maybe. So
there was always an intent to renew. Is that the belief?
Oh yeah. I mean, some people are under the impression he was fired. WWE, I think, always had a contract offer for him.
No, I never thought there's a difference between fired and just letting the contract lapse and saying we have nothing for you.
I think the contract was probably revised to make it more appealing to him, and then he re-signed to it. But I don't think he ever was like looking for work elsewhere.
No, I don't believe that. I just think that the way the dirt sheets proposed it, and I don't believe the dirt sheets
they worded it. They worded it a certain way.
They worded it like they let his contract expire and they had nothing for him because TKO was saying dead weight because of his age, move on to something else. Yeah. That's the way they portrayed it.
Unfortunately, like, I understand like people's frustration, like WWE isn't run like it used to be. It's run like a business. And WWE was a publicly traded company, but it was still a family-owned business with Vince McMahon and his regime. Now that it's with TKO, it is run like a business. It's run like Walt Disney World. They don't let emotions get involved in these business decisions.
Great.
And although everybody might like R-Truth, the fans might like R-Truth, if he's not pulling in the numbers that they need him to pull in, they're going to make changes. And if that means offering him a lower contract, if that means whatever, if that means firing somebody, if it is a better business decision for them, that's what they're going to do. They don't let emotions affect that. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but with the Vince McMahon era, he had emotional investment in certain wrestlers, like The Undertaker, like Hulk Hogan, like John Cena.
Yes.
And they could do no wrong. And he would, if Undertaker would have came to Vince McMahon and said, "I want an extra $1 million, or else I'm not going out there," he would have given it to him. In TKO, if Undertaker said that, they'd say goodbye, and they would figure something out. Like, it's a totally different. It's not run like a family business anymore. And trust me, R-Truth probably isn't going to be the last time we see something like that.
Agree.
You never know.
There's a whole host of people in that roster that are
probably getting paid more than
hanging by a thread in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, and these people that you don't see on TV too often, that don't seem to be doing a lot. Expect to see them in the news soon. Expect to see somebody like, I don't want to call people out, but like expect somebody like Otis, somebody like Tozawa, somebody like at this point, as much as I don't want to say it, Kaiser. Where the hell has he been?
I was just gonna say
he hasn't been on TV.
Thinking about that this morning.
Like, this is the time where you want to be on TV. You need to get on TV with something. Go to NXT.
TV and or merch. Right?
Yeah, sell some merch. Go get on TV. It seems like Kaiser hasn't been seen since freaking Charlotte Flair said his name in that promo. Yeah. What the hell happened? Did he get punished for that? Yeah. Maybe he really was talking to Charlotte in the DMs, and that's why. Who knows what the hell happened? As far as I know, I haven't heard anything about that, but I haven't seen him on TV since. You know what? When that Charlotte thing happened, he did tweet out something. It was like he tweeted out something as a response. He didn't actually write anything. It was just like a clip of some sort of wrestling promo, and it said something like in regards that people were insinuating that it was a reply to Charlotte. So maybe that got him in some hot water. Who knows? But yeah, he has not been seen since before WrestleMania. I don't quite understand it, but maybe there's something going on there. Hopefully his name doesn't come up on one of these firing sprees, whatever you want to call it. I guess we'll have to wait and hear what the hell is going to go on with Karrion Kross, because I heard that his contract is up in the air.
Up in the summer,
and I could see the fans jumping on his little bandwagon.
And it makes sense why he's trying to get himself on TV a little bit more, because he doesn't want to be the next in line to get considered to have his contract just run out.
Maybe. Unfortunately,
because I don't think he's selling a whole lot of merch right now. No. I don't think that he's.
And I don't know what his. That's the thing. Like, I don't know what his contract looks like. So I don't know, like, if this is something that I can agree with their decision, because. Listen, I'm not the biggest Karrion Kross. Like, his ring work never impressed me. His character is interesting. Like, I don't turn the channel off like I would with the Wyatt Six. But if he's making like a ridiculous amount of money, I wouldn't blame TKO from trying to revise that.
I mean, another dirt sheet thing, take this with a grain of salt, was that their rule of thumb, in addition to, like, letting contracts run out if they're not pushing merch or getting on TV frequently, is that it's tit for tat with NXT. They want to keep their roster a certain size. If they start bringing up people from NXT, TKO wants WWE to look at their current WWE roster and try to not just inflate their current roster with call-ups and start to cull, people hanging on by
to be honest with you,
even if they're not making a lot of money.
A lot of it stems from WWE not doing house shows as often anymore. Because that's what kept some of these guys in business, was house shows. Some of these, like a Karrion Kross, Otis, Tozawa, they would be like house show people. Yes. They might not be on the TV shows, but you go to a house show, you're going to see Otis, you're going to see those guys. They're not doing house shows now, so there's a lot of dead weight that can get cut. Yep. Not that they're dead weight, but they don't need large rosters like that. If you're not appearing on TV a couple times a month, they might not need you anymore. They need
it's
people
kind of
that
like
are going to be on TV.
A sports team. I hate to say it's like a sports team. Sports teams have roster sizes.
Yeah. If you're not on the field,
there's only room so many. Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
obviously, you don't want to just have people that are going to be on TV. You always want to have somebody in case like a Charlotte gets injured. Then you got somebody that can
And
kind of move
sports
up.
teams have that. They have
Yeah,
backups, but they
have
don't have five
backups.
backups.
Have preliminary talent that's on the verge.
Yeah.
Of, I mean, that's
Yeah.
something like NXT could fill those gaps.
Yeah.
They're restructuring, so don't be surprised if we see
Yeah.
more cuts happening. Let's get into Money in the Bank discussion here because I actually have to do something. With what's up? So women's Money in the Bank.
Oh no.
Women's Money in the Bank. I need to do something once we go through this here, though.
What? Take a shit?
No. So women's Money in the Bank. I thought it was a decent match. One of the better women's Money in the Bank matches that I've seen. I thought like everybody kind of held their part. The one person that I thought was a little disappointing was Alexa Bliss. But I really think that she's like maybe just not ring ready yet, so they're taking it easy with her. She did end up taking a couple bumps on the ladder, but it was kind of, I noticed, she'd come in the ring, do a few things, get pushed out, be out for 10 minutes, come back in, do a few things, get pushed out, be out for 10 minutes. They were obviously protecting her a little bit. I thought everybody did their job. It's hard when you got 6 people in a match because obviously not everybody can be active at all times. So it's one of those little switcheroos where you got 2 or 3 people active, the other people are out there drinking water. And that's kind of what happened for the most part. There were times where we had everybody active at once. That's where kind of the choreography comes in at wrestling, but they try to make it look real as much as possible. The one thing that I called out, and Mr. Chonk was, we had a little watch party here. One thing that I think we both called out was in this women's Money in the Bank match, in general, there was a little too much choreography. When I say choreography, I mean like they were purposely like, oh, let's both do our finishing moves in sync with each other. That's the kind of stuff that takes the realism out of wrestling. Because we saw like whoever it was, Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez, they kept on looking over to each other. Oh, are you about to do your move? Because I got to do mine at the exact same time to give a good visual.
Did look a little...
So it didn't look real because they were trying to do in sync suplexes at the same time. It's not a tag match. You're not trying to look like doing things in sync, like everyone's doing their own thing. So let there be chaos. That just kind of took the realism out of it. I understand they're trying to get little photo moments and stuff to be on the reels or whatever for when they do replays, but that kind of stuff took the realism out. Overall, I thought it was good. There were some pretty nasty bumps, and let's get the fucking elephant in the room. Naomi did end up winning the Money in the Bank match. Let me just say this. Congratulations to Naomi for not only winning the Money in the Bank match, but also making history. And when I say making history, Naomi, you might not notice, Mr. Chunk, but Naomi made history by winning that Money in the Bank briefcase because she is actually going to be the first woman ever to fail at cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase. I'm calling it right now. She is going to fail at her cash-in.
So she's going to cash in and lose whatever opportunity.
Bianca, Jade, somebody is going to cost her that cash-in. I do not see her winning the title.
I think you're right. I don't
unless
any
things
reason...
drastically change and she embraces this character and the fans get over with it, then maybe they will. I do not see her beating Tiffany Stratton. I don't see her beating Io Sky. Not the way that she's not invested in this character.
I don't know why
they turned her heel
and had her win the match. Was it some way to accelerate her?
I don't know. I hope that they could change. They could like turn up the volume on this character that she's trying to portray. Get her to actually embrace it, and then maybe I can get behind it. But right now, it's just Naomi wearing caution tape, pretending she's evil. It doesn't come across as genuine or real. I think either Bianca or Jade are going to cost her that briefcase whenever she tries to cash in. I don't know when that's going to be. Maybe on SmackDown. You never know. But I thought the Money in the Bank ladder match was good. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Didn't like the outcome though. Did not think she could win. I thought Rhea Ripley was going to win, and then I had Roxanne Perez as my second guess. There were times where I thought Roxanne was really going to win. I don't think there was ever a point in the match where Rhea was like, it looked like she was about to win it, to be honest with you. She took some of the heavier bumps, so I think she was out of a lot of the match. But there was never a point where, that I remember, she was like on top of the ladder actually grabbing the briefcase.
The fan in me would want Rhea to win, but in actuality, she's already over with the fans, and she doesn't need the briefcase.
Yeah, she didn't need it at all. And she probably
not to say that she won't get her time again, but she doesn't need it to be at the front and center of the women's division. She kind of already is without having a title or a briefcase.
And I really thought that it should have went to either Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Valcour, or Julia. I thought it should have went to one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the top part is they're really new on the roster. They've only been on for like a month or two.
Yeah, I'm trying to not let my personal opinions come in here. But like, Naomi just reminds me of the old Diva era. She's the last Diva on the roster, other than Natalya. But Natalya was always like a straight up wrestler. Naomi is the last Diva. She is the last, like, wasn't trained to be a wrestler. She was there to be a backup dancer. She was, before the women's evolution, Naomi was there with, like, the Bella Twins. Well, the Bella Twins kind of ushered in the women's evolution, but Naomi was, like, there with the Diva era when Santina was the champion and all of that. So, like, she just gives me a bad taste in my mouth because I don't think, and she walked out on the company. I guess that was really the last straw for me. Like, I'll never be a Naomi fan because she walked out on the company of having a little fit with Sasha Banks. Like, and
if you're gonna walk out and you're thick, your shit don't stink, then why you come crawling back?
Yeah. So,
I mean, say what you will about Sasha Banks, she honestly thought that she was better, and she went to a place that believed it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying AEW was the right place for her, but if she came calling back to WWE,
she tried.
I would have lost a lot of respect for her.
She tried, but the WWE wasn't interested in. WWE was interested, but they weren't willing to pay her what she wanted. Speaking of Sasha Banks, not to go off course, she won another title over the weekend. She basically showed up at a almost a backyard wrestling event. It was under a tent, and she went in there and won their title. Like, here's the problem with it. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. They're like, ooh, she's the belt collector, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything when the belts mean nothing. When you're just winning, like, Andy's Toy Wrestling Championship, nobody's going to give a shit if you got 30 championships that are made out of paper. Like, nobody cares. Like, honestly, I never was really a big Sasha Banks fan. In my opinion, her only good match was with Bayley. And I wouldn't even call that good. They just kind of had good chemistry together. And to be honest with you, Bayley's only good match was with Sasha Banks. So there you go. Those two should be... Like, I hear the rumors that Bayley's going to AEW. Let her go. Jesus Christ. Let them have a fucking Bayley-Sasha Banks makeout session. Or whatever. Like, let them two do their thing in AEW and let all the AEW weirdos cheer and throw babies in the air about it. Like, she's done everything she's going to do in WWE. Nobody cares anymore. She's not anything. Like, I understand why WWE doesn't have her on TV because she'd just be wasting up time. Sorry, Bayley. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. You've done everything. You're not a believable character. Your last championship reign was the drizzling shits. Nobody cared. So, have fun. Congratulations on your AEW contract. Whenever that happens, who knows? Must be coming up soon. Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. This is one that was announced literally like hours before the event. Not sure why they did this match. I guess it showcased a new AAA star. So maybe that was it. Maybe at Worlds Collide they wanted to kind of mesh it into Money in the Bank somehow, and that's how they did it.
Somebody appear on the main show rather than, nothing against Worlds Collide.
It was
I imagine the
match.
viewership was lower than Money in the Bank itself.
I mean, it was straight to YouTube. So, for a YouTube show, I think it has over 2 million views right now. So that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, after the fact, I'm talking about live viewership, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the live viewership. I know that there was, when I was watching, there was like 2,000 people watching live. So it's a little different. People aren't always into the streaming services, so a lot of people probably didn't even realize it was on YouTube. I did watch most of the AAA event. We got that, what was it, Mr. Iguana. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He seems to be a fan favorite now, so maybe we'll see him on Raw and SmackDown. Something. Maybe WWE can do something with him. Him and Joe Hendry should be a tag team. Yeah. So, yeah, Dom versus Octagon Jr. Decent match. Showcased the Lucha Libre. Of course, Dominic won. It was for the Intercontinental title. So now people can't say that he's not defending the title. He did defend it against a random luchador. So he did that. And it also got Liv Morgan on the pay-per-view. So now people can be happy that there was more women's wrestling there. Or at least appearing on the show.
Yeah.
Not really much to say about that. Decent match for what it was.
Cookie cutter match, yeah, pretty short.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah. Speaking about cookie cutter in 10 minutes, Becky Lynch versus the Bird Lady also happened last night. Why can't I ever remember her name?
Lyra Valkyria.
Lyra Valkyria. Well, I always get her confused with Stephanie Valcour. So, Lyra Valkyria, the Bird Lady herself. She actually ended up losing the title. So, that was actually one prediction that I got right. I think that might be the only prediction I got right last night, to be honest with you. I think that absolutely was the only prediction I got right, was the Bird Lady losing the title.
Yes.
The match was no different than their match at Backlash, I have to say. Like, it really
it was
did
a
not,
very similar paced match.
They really should have added a stipulation to this. I don't understand why they didn't, unless
not the dumb one they have where she had to raise Becky
they must
Lynch's
be planning some sort of blow-off match now, which...
Yeah. Which has to be bigger, a steel cage match.
I think WWE was expecting fans to be more into this feud than they are. I think they were.
And they were hoping that Becky Lynch would add credibility to
Becky
it.
Lynch's return. I think that they were expecting fans to just be all over it, and unfortunately, they're not partnering her with the right person. You wanted Becky Lynch's return to mean something. Have her in a feud with Liv Morgan, maybe people would have been much more into it, or Rhea Ripley. People would have been much more into it. The Bird Lady is not doing it.
They didn't need Becky Lynch to return to elevate their career. Maybe Becky Lynch versus Stephanie Valkyria. That would have been an interesting concept.
Like this Bird Lady stuff. Like, it's at the point where they're trying to shove the Bird Lady down our throat. They're trying to say, "Oh, look, fan participation, everyone do the bird flapping," and it's just not getting over. It's not getting over. And at this point, like if I was Triple H or WWE, I'd start looking into maybe doing a character arc, a character change for the Bird Lady, because they gave her a title, they gave her some trophies, and it really didn't do much for her. Like, people aren't going to remember she was the first Intercontinental Champion, Women's Intercontinental Champion. She's just kind of, I guess the best way to put it, she's not relatable. People aren't related to somebody that thinks they're a bird. Like, it's just not happening. And they've given her time. Like, I can't fault WWE because they're giving her opportunities. They're giving her promo time. They're giving her ring time. Her promos aren't that great. And I think it's really just a disconnect with the fans. I really don't think...
Yeah. I mean, she's better than, like, a Mia Yim and B-Fab.
Yeah, well, that's another thing with me. Somebody like Mia Yim, she also doesn't connect with the fans. So it's like, how do you get the connection? I'm not sure. If she's had this fascination with birds, maybe have her come with a bird to the ring. Give the bird a name. That way you can sell like little stuffed animals of the bird. Like kind of like Coco Beware with the parrot. Like
that's another thing. Does she have any merch that's being sold? I'm not aware of any merch.
Yeah, it's like
she doesn't come out wearing a t-shirt. She doesn't come out wearing something that you associate merch with.
Yeah. They're kind of put themselves into situations like, how do you merchandise? How do you make this person appeal to the audience where they want to spend money to see her? Unfortunately, in WWE, like, just being a good wrestler doesn't cut it. Like, it gets you your foot in the door, but you got to be able to have fans pay money to come see you, pay money to support you. And she's kind of not really pushing those buttons right now, unfortunately.
I think maybe what might have happened, and you know, not all the fault's on her. They all of a sudden brought up, 4 or 5 women from NXT in, like, a 2-month time span.
And there's probably going to be more.
Hasn't happened. That hasn't happened in recent history. Not that many all at once.
Yeah.
I think if they had her show up a little later, after we got used to Roxanne, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer, maybe her appearance would have meant more.
Yeah.
I feel like she's just lost in the shuffle a bit.
She's been on the roster for about a year now, though. Coming up on that, at least. I know.
Already? I felt like it was less than that.
Last year, she was in the Queen of the Ring tournament, and that's coming up on a year now. So she must have. She's probably been here about a year, because she was in the finals. Like Nia Jax sat on her.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Very much squashed her in a ring.
I feel like she didn't get propelled to like really good mid card until maybe about 4 months ago.
She basically, like, any big match she was in, she always lost. Their first big win was winning the title.
Yeah.
And she had those matches with Dakota Kai, who was a good opponent for her, but Dakota Kai isn't with the company now, so
yeah,
kind of sucks. Pluggo over on TikTok says Becky Lynch and Lyra roll. Okay. I'm glad you liked the match.
It wasn't a bad match.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad
match. It wasn't a terrible match.
Yeah.
It was an average match. It was average.
I didn't think the match was terrible. It was just kind of... maybe I'm a little different. Like, I want the full package. Like, I want a story, I want good wrestling, and I want it to make sense.
And even the ending, and I wouldn't say the ending was botched, but the ending didn't make logical sense.
Went a little too long. Like,
I mean, Michael Cole made a big deal that she held on to Lyra's tights, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, Lyra had like no tights to hold on to.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean hold on to the tights? And they showed the camera angle, and it's like, okay, yeah, maybe, but it's not like traditional where like you see somebody wearing long leather pants and they're grabbing a bunch of material and it looks overt and obvious.
Yeah.
It did not look obvious. Michael Cole had to really sell it. He made a big deal about it, so now I guess it creates a controversial win.
Maybe.
It seems like a stretch. Seems like a stretch to me.
They're just setting up for another match, unfortunately.
Yes. It's got to be a third and a blow-off, and I would imagine...
It's got to be something big. It's got to be Cage, something. It'll probably happen in Saudi Arabia.
If they want to really... Well, I would imagine it's going to happen at the Evolution event.
Yeah, you're right. That's good. That's a possibility. Maybe even add somebody else to it. Add a third person to it or something.
I would imagine if WWE believes in Lyra Valkyria, they would have her win the title back. But then that's like hot potato with the title, and they don't usually do that. So
yeah, we'll see.
What is their plan with her? It's really strange.
Yeah. Get her out of the Lynch feud, and she has nothing. Really, honestly, nothing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Men's Money in the Bank. This one was all over the place. I forget. Did you predict this one? Did you predict Seth Rollins? Okay.
But I don't want to take full credit. I predicted it, but I didn't want it. And I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying Seth Rollins has won it before. He wasn't my fan favorite choice. Yeah. But I had a feeling that's the business decision WWE would have went with, in which they did.
I knew it was going to be either him or Solo. I thought Solo. I thought it would have made much more sense for Solo to win it. But unfortunately, WWE was fast-tracking that storyline, and they actually had a big pivotal moment in the Solo storyline happen last night. And that doesn't include him winning the Money in the Bank. It includes one of his main members, basically his main member, turning on him. Now the question is up in the air. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Jacob Fatu pretty much told Solo that instead of saying "I love you, Solo," which I thought would have been a good swerve, he like stops him. The fans start cheering like crazy, thinking he's going to turn on him. I was hoping he would have like grabbed him and be like, "I love you, Solo," and then like let him
push him up the ladder.
Yeah. But instead he said, "I hate you, Solo," and pulled him off and fucked him up.
I think it was the wrong move. Because now Solo
too fast.
is a chump.
We saw it was coming. We knew it was going to happen.
It would have been better played had Solo won the briefcase.
Yes, and then
a month or so later,
moved it. Maybe have Solo like kind of hint that he might cash in on Jacob or something. Like they could have had months of build up for this moment that they wasted at Money in the Bank. But yeah, Jacob ended up pretty much... So, let's get into the Money in the Bank here. What ended up happening was Seth Rollins, at one point, called for his people to come out. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They came out and basically, like, annihilated everybody. And then they looked over to Solo, they were about to kind of make some things happen with him, and then Solo called for his people to come out, which was Jacob Fatu and JC.
No surprise, we both expected.
Yeah, we knew that was going to
happen.
happen. But the odd thing is that they all got their own entrances and everything. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Jacob Fatu, JC Mateo, there was a big brawl out and everything, and then eventually it came to everything was cleared out. Solo starts climbing the ladder. Jacob stops him, and that's when he says, "I hate you" and everything. Boom, 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 boom. There were some crazy spots in the men's ladder match, but I think the women's ladder match definitely kind of took the bar up a little bit more, I thought.
Right.
Definitely effort on both sides, though. And then Seth Rollins ended up winning the whole thing.
Not sure how I wanted to win.
Not sure how I feel about that. I really don't think his whole arc needed it.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. So what's the goal with that?
Are we going to just have a repeat of the Drew McIntyre thing where CM Punk costs him his cash in? Or I think if they want to make it interesting, Seth Rollins cashes in tomorrow night, wins the title. Then it would make things interesting. Seth Rollins with the belt will give that faction more credibility than it has right now, even though I think they're already on a good path. Seth Rollins with the belt could potentially make some big stars. What I mean by that is the eventual Braun Breaker turning on Seth at some point.
We all know
while he's a champion. Maybe him winning the title from Seth at some point. This is long-term storytelling. Or people chasing the title. CM Punk. Maybe he can finally get a title win on his new contract by eventually overcoming the odds and beating Seth. Maybe Roman Reigns wins the title back by beating Seth. Maybe somebody completely different wins the title back. Maybe somehow they can build up a whole thing with Jey Uso and he ends up winning it back. Who knows what they could do. But that would be the move I'd make. I want to get a big pop in the ratings on Raw, and have Seth do his cash in tomorrow night. Yeah, don't get the doll, dude. So because we do have Raw tomorrow night, Gunther versus Jey Uso is happening tomorrow. Also, something I want to make note of tomorrow night on Raw. This is kind of confusing, but they announced that Nikki Bella returns.
Yes.
They did not announce it as an appearance. They said returns. So does that mean she's coming back as not a full-time wrestler, but is she coming back to start some sort of program? What is she doing? She's not doing anything right now. Like, why would she be showing up on Raw?
Maybe it's there to add some legitimacy to the Evolution Women's pay-per-view.
I think you're right. I think
noise for that.
Maybe she has a match, or maybe she's going to formally announce it. But maybe she'll have a match. Who would you want to see Nikki Bella face, though? You know,
assuming she is gonna have a match.
I have a good idea.
Dream match.
I think I know who
Lodger?
she should face. Whatever you think would be a good. Because right away,
you think she comes back as a fan favorite or not?
I think so. I think she's
a fan favorite.
Yeah.
I could see either maybe Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, exactly. That's who I think it should be right away. Unless they could work something with like Liv Morgan. But I think Roxanne and Nikki would be a good match. The only thing with that is like Roxanne Perez is new. She's kind of green. And Nikki obviously isn't wrestling full time. So she might not be, unless she's training with Natalya. That would be a good match. Nikki Bella and like Liv Morgan would also be a good one. I don't think that she would really collide well with like Rhea Ripley. I don't think Rhea needs a match like that.
The matches are two different styles.
Nikki Bella, Tiffany Stratton, I think would be interesting also. But you never know. You never know. Like Women's Evolution, they might have a couple of returns. You might have Trish returning. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish would be a good match.
Yes,
definitely better than her Charlotte match. So that's interesting. Maybe Naomi will schedule her cash-in for, because we've seen that happen where the cash-in, they actually make it like a scheduled, like Rob Van Dam did that with John Cena. He's like, oh, I want a main event of this pay-per-view or something like that. So maybe Naomi will cash in then. But yeah, I think you're right with Nikki Bella. She's probably coming in to formally announce the Evolution pay-per-view, and then maybe announce that she's going to have a match there. Roxanne Perez, I think, would be a good choice. Liv Morgan, I think. R-Truth would not be a good choice for that pay-per-view. It would be funny, though. I'm trying to think of who else could come back for that pay-per-view. I know Carmella is pregnant with another child, so she couldn't come back. Who the hell else would be a surprise? If they pulled in like some of the people, like Shayna Baszler comes back for that Evolution.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Cora Jade, Dakota Kai. They bring all the ones that they got rid of.
Mandy Rose.
That would be. I don't think they would work with her again. But they got rid of her because of her OnlyFans thing. But she was like at the top of her game when they let her go. Yes. That was such a hard call for them. That really was. Yeah. I wish they didn't, but I guess they had to.
I don't know. I don't know if this is still.
Harmony me. Thanks for stopping in.
For WWE, but do you think they still look at OnlyFans as like taboo for them with bad PR?
I mean, I guess that's their own policies. I mean,
because I think Cora Jade has already stated she's doing.
Yeah, I think it's like WWE's thing where they just don't want their wrestlers to be involved in that.
Yeah.
So I guess, but Mandy Rose, like she was at the top of her, like she was more over than she ever was when they let her go.
Yeah.
Unbelievable that they did that. I'm trying to think of what other females they could have at the Evolution pay-per-view. Lita. We haven't seen Lita in like 2 years or so, but
true.
We'll see. Maybe they'll bring back Tamina. Whatever happened to her? Did she get fired? Like, is she still with the... What the hell's going on? Tamina.
Maybe they'll bring back Santina.
Oh, God. They should. They really should. Yeah, so that was the men's Money in the Bank. We got one more match we're going to talk about here. The main event... By the way,
your audio is cutting in and out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it cutting in and out? All right, hopefully, yeah. Maybe if I get a little closer.
Every once in a while, it just mutes.
All right, so I changed a couple things. Let's see if the tag team main event. Like, I don't think this should have main evented the show.
Well, I think there's one reason and one reason alone it main evented.
I think even with the return, I think they still could have had this be the opening match or something. John Cena with Logan Paul taking on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes returned to action. He hasn't been in action since WrestleMania. So this is his first match back since WrestleMania. It's hard to say. Like, the match was really, really slow. And I think we're both in agreement that maybe it's because of John Cena's capabilities. Like, obviously, he can't go at 100%. So maybe they had to lower it down to 75%. I don't know. I don't think the tag match was the right setting. You had Logan Paul, who is also somewhat limited in the ring, but not really. And then you had Jey Uso, who just kind of... He's got the yeet gimmick. He sells merchandise, but, like, other than that, it's kind of one of those things where you see the entrance and then you saw it. And, like, he doesn't really do anything special in the ring after that, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, Jey Uso, I can't believe I'm going to say this, he's the modern-day John Cena. He doesn't have a large move repertoire. He tends to be the person in the match who gets beat up 75% of the match. Mm-hmm. Comes back at the end with his super kicks.
Yeah.
And he has his own 5 moves of doom. He is the next John Cena, right?
Yep.
So
Bret Hart over on YouTube says John Cena. And I'm going to assume that is the real Bret Hart from the 90s, the Bret Hart, leader of the Hart Foundation. Thank you so much, Mr. Hart, for coming in and checking out our YouTube. Appreciate you. Please subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
So we got Bret Hart in here talking to us.
Okay. Do you think he screwed himself, or that was Vince screwed Bret?
Yeah, Bret. But let's interview
ask him
for
real
a second
quick.
here. Do you still think that? Do you think that Vince screwed Bret or Bret screwed Bret? Because my opinion has changed over time. At first I thought that Vince screwed Bret, but now I kind of And then Bret Hart also says, I don't recommend mixing Fireball with ladders. Oh, the advertisements on the... Well, just wait until the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view comes this year. They're gonna have a Morgan and Morgan lawyer advertisement on the side.
Your audio's cutting out again, buddy.
Maybe on your end.
Keeps doing it.
It's not doing it on mine. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, Bret Hart, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. So yeah, the tag match. There isn't really much I could say about the tag match. Honestly, it wasn't really that special. Bret Hart says Triple H, Vince, and HBK screwed Bret. Well, so you're referring to yourself in third person now? Because I thought you were Bret.
Oh boy.
Triple H, Vince, and HBK. Well, see, I think it's been proven that HBK, he knew what was happening, but he just kind of did what he was told. So I don't know if HBK really screwed Bret. I guess in the sense that he didn't tell Bret what was happening, he screwed him, but HBK had no part in coming up with that plan. He just did what he was told.
Plus, HBK wasn't the big star that he, eventually was 5+ years later. Yeah. So I don't think he could have put his balls on the table and tell the Vince, I disagree. He was trying to make a name for himself, too. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Yeah. I'm not saying it's morally right, but what's he supposed to do? Yeah. Put his ass on the line? And if Vince, we all know Vince could have said to HBK, screw you then, if you're not going to follow my plan. And
screwed
put
him
on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So... And if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, according to Jim Cornette, he's the one that actually told Vince McMahon the plan. So there's a lot of conspiracies. Here we are, 30+ years later, still talking about this. They're all dirty, rotten hyenas. Bret Hart, I don't know what to say to you, brother. I really don't. So let me tell you something, brother.
They probably all are in some capacity, right? It's a cutthroat business. Everybody's out for themselves. This is not a business where, friends helping friends all that much. Maybe to an extent. Yeah. Until your career's at risk, right?
Could you imagine if something like that happened now? The internet would explode. If something like that happened now. Now, people get offended when one person gets released. Could you imagine if there was a legit screw job in wrestling and how the pitchforks would come out for that? Anyways, back to the tag match last night. Pretty much a snooze fest, in my opinion. What? Oh, Jim, I'm coming for you now, too. Okay, Bret Hart. It's all right, buddy. I'm sure. So, what's up, Bret? I'm sure eventually you'll get over it. It's 1997 called. They want their emotions back, buddy. Sorry about your damn luck. Tag match from Money in the Bank last night. Not much happened here. Logan Paul did a nice little flip onto the table, onto was it Cody or Jey Uso?
It was on Jey Uso, I think.
It might have been Jey Uso, yeah. Pretty sick bump. It looked like it hurt. John Cena did his whole spiel. He hit Cody with the belt. That's kind of like John Cena's finishing move for this heel turn. Yeah. He hits somebody with the belt and ends up getting the win. So he hit Cody with the belt. Looked like he was about to get the win. And then, R-Truth came out of the crowd, dressed all in black, with a hoodie over his face, so you couldn't tell who it was. Attacked John Cena. The crowd was kind of confused at first, didn't know who it was. I had an idea right away when I saw it, and I was like, "This has to be R-Truth. It's the only person that would make sense to be attacked."
When his contract ran out, I forgot R-Truth existed.
Yeah. The only other person I thought it might have been would be Randy Orton, because we haven't really heard from him since he lost to Cena. But
yeah, his match with John Cena, and that was it.
Yeah, but it turned out it was R-Truth. R-Truth just kind of did his wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Hit him a bunch of times. I think he hit him with the belt. And then he just okey doked and got out of there.
Yeah.
And then Cody ended up hitting the crossroads. 1, 2, 3, got the pin on John Cena. The first pin John Cena has taken during his return. His only other loss was at the Royal Rumble in January.
Yeah.
So there you go. John Cena was pinned by Cody. Something tells me they will have a rematch down the line. Maybe SummerSlam. Who knows?
No, I don't think. You know what? So I don't think it's going to be a one-on-one rematch. That happened already. I think it's going to be another tag situation, and he'll be in the tag match.
Cena's got to defend that title eventually. Excuse me.
Eventually, but yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going with the Cena Cody stuff. There's still some things to unravel there. But yeah, Cody, Jey Uso ended up leaving victorious. Not sure where Logan Paul goes from here.
There's a little bit of heat in the ring.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a heat with Logan Paul and John Cena. So maybe eventually we'll see Cena and Logan Paul. I could see Logan maybe coming out, cutting a little promo on Cena, blaming him for the loss. And them two maybe see Logan Paul versus John Cena. That sounds like a Saudi match to me. Doesn't sound like they could build like a real pay-per-view around it, but Saudi Arabia, they could do like a headline match like that. And I think like they could use Logan Paul to get that promoted on social media and stuff. I think that could be a big match. But unfortunately, like internet fans say, like, well, why do we care? It's two heels. Why do we care? Dude. I think fans would want to see that match. I think so.
See,
I think it's done promoted
you know what? I
correctly.
agree in the sense there isn't a lot of story there.
Yeah.
But it isn't going to be a long-term feud. It's going to be
it's a Saudi show, so
it's a one and done match, and then Logan Paul goes back and takes a break for a month, and then we'll see him.
He'll
later.
be back at SummerSlam, I'm sure.
Yeah, because he's not on TV every week unless there's an active match for him.
Yeah. So Logan, I think he could do a thing with Cena. Maybe Logan could get a little more out of Cena than. So far, in my opinion, Randy Orton got the most out of Cena.
Yes.
So far, his retirement tour, Orton got the most out of Cena. Even in the Elimination Chamber match, Orton got the most out of him so far. So that shows us that Cena is capable of putting on a decent match. It's just he needs the right dance partner to do it. Maybe he can get something going with Logan. Who knows? Logan, he's kind of hit or miss. Like his match at WrestleMania against AJ Styles, I didn't think was that great. But then he did matches with Rey Mysterio that I thought was great. His match with Seth Rollins was great. He is able to do good matches. His match with Ricochet, as stupid as Ricochet is, was a decent match.
That was a great match, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the issue with AJ Styles is AJ Styles has kind of lost a step. He's the John Cena mode, where he can only perform at like 65%.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with like Logan Paul is unless Logan Paul's gonna practice with AJ Styles in the ring every week. Remember, they don't do house shows, so when are they practicing with each other?
Yeah.
If you're not gonna have that and you gotta wing it in the ring, it's gonna be tough for somebody like AJ Styles or John Cena to do that because they're not practicing all the time.
Yeah. So that's something to look forward to. We also have Raw. We have the big main event, Jey Uso versus Gunther. A lot of speculation with Gunther. People trying to say that he might be leaving the company because he deleted all the WWE mentions on his Twitter. But one thing I
don't put that much stock in that.
Neither do I. And that's just the internet.
Miz did the same thing.
This is what I wanted to say.
He's going to film a TV show.
The Miz actually clarified things because people keep saying the Miz is leaving. Yeah. A little bit before we started the podcast, Miz actually posted a video and clarified that everything's fine. Like, you have to remember, like, yes, I think a lot of the superstars are obligated to make Twitter pages. Some of them are more active than others, and you have to realize it's their personal pages. Like, they don't have to constantly be promoting WWE all the time. Just because they might be promoting, like, their golf or something. They have other hobbies. Like, their lives don't revolve around the WWE. Just because somebody's posting personal photos with their significant other or children or whatever doesn't mean all of a sudden they're leaving the WWE because they didn't comment on the Money in the Bank match last night. Yeah. It's like some people social media in different ways. Some people don't social media at all. Like,
I think that the public's just looking for something to
don't
scream about.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, people just need to get over things sometimes. Go touch some grass. Go fucking hug your family or something. Get a life. Seriously.
One thing I am going to predict, and I you know what? I think runway's running out for this to happen. Where's Goldberg?
Oh God! They said that he will be having a retirement match this year.
I was reading that he has been actively training, that it's imminent that he's having the match. By imminent, I assume that means weeks, not many months from now.
The Saudi show is coming up. How about this? Gunther.
He cost Gunther the match on Monday.
costs Gunther the match. Gunther gets the advantage. Jey Uso's taken out. Goldberg comes out, spears Gunther. Seth Rollins cashes in, pins Gunther.
That's a very real possibility. That's a very real possibility.
If they don't want Jey Uso getting pinned, he pins Gunther after getting the spear. And bing, bang, boom. You got yourself everything. Everything's in place. Goldberg gets a feud. Seth Rollins wins the title. Jey Uso's a crybaby bitch, wants his title back. And there you go.
Although what would be really interesting, but unfortunately it's going to go nowhere.
What's that?
Is that if Seth Rollins gets involved and Goldberg does, a stare down between Braun Breaker and Goldberg, spear versus spear, but I don't think
Braun would Braun would break his ribs.
Well, yeah.
That would be. I'd be more interested in seeing that match. Absolutely. I don't think Goldberg.
I'd rather see that than him versus Gunther.
Yeah, I don't think Goldberg is willing to be that intense. I think Gunther was a more logical match for Goldberg because I think Breaker he's very intense, and I don't think Goldberg is just capable of hanging unless it's just a total annihilation. But I don't think Goldberg will be willing to take a spear from Braun Breaker. Unfortunately, I don't think he's willing to do it.
Well, good luck. He's going to be taking a power bomb from Gunther.
That could be protected. A spear, I don't know. I'd be more interested in seeing Goldberg and Braun Breaker. Absolutely. But I do think it might be a Gunther thing. They've already played.
Or you never know. You could see a stare down between Braun Breaker and Goldberg's son. I've seen social media posts his son looks like he's actively training for something.
Maybe we'll see a stare down between Jey Uso and Goldberg's daughter.
Okay.
I don't think Goldberg has a daughter. Maybe his wife or something. Who knows? Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Okay.
All right. So, predictions. I think Seth Rollins might cash in tomorrow night. We'll have to see. I think it might happen. We'll have to see. That would be the only way to make that make a little more sense. And we don't have to deal with the whole months and months of, I might cash in tomorrow, guys. I hate that. I hate that whole months of build-up. Like Austin Theory, he did it the worst. Where like every show he's like, oh, I got a briefcase still. It's like, shut up. It's so stupid. Like what? And then when there is like prime opportunities, they don't even cash in on it. Other than Tiffany Stratton, she took advantage. But a lot of times, there was prime opportunities and they're nowhere to be found. It just doesn't. It makes sense when they first started doing it. It made more sense than it does now. Now it's just like we know the deal. It's like you don't have to whatever. Stop reminding us all the time. All right. So anyways, that's going to be it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Bret Hart, thank you. You are a legend in more ways than one. Thank you for coming in and blessing us with being in the stream. Hopefully you subscribe. What's up? We'll see you guys next week. We'll have our opinions on what happens on Raw and SmackDown and all the silliness that's going on in AEW, at least from what we see on the internet. Until then, though, have a good rest